The Shalom Y interchange sits among the desolate hills where highways 41 and 46 divide. At first, it might seem like just another remote highway junction. In reality, this stretch of road is extremely dangerous. It has earned the chilling nickname Blood Alley and is known for far more than just its deadly reputation. In 1955, this isolated interchange became the site of one of Hollywood's most haunting tragedies. It was here that rising star James Dean lost his life in a fatal car crash while driving his Porsche 550 Spyder, a car he had ominously nicknamed Little Bastard. Since then, the wreckage has been surrounded by unsettling rumors. Whispers of a cursed vehicle, a string of mysterious accidents, and a legacy that refuses to die. Welcome back to Terrifying Tales and Haunted Locations.
You don't belong here.
James Dean left an indelible mark on Hollywood in the 1950s, despite a tragically brief career spanning just 5 years. With only 3 major films to his name, his impact on cinema and popular culture remains profound. Rebel Without a Cause, released in 1955, cemented his status as the quintessential troubled youth, while East of Eden, released that same year, highlighted his remarkable emotional depth. And finally, Giant in 1956 showcased his versatility in an epic drama. Yet to his fans, he was much more than just an actor. He was an icon, a symbol of rebellion, youth, and reckless abandon. With his piercing gaze and effortless cool, he didn't just shine, he burned. And perhaps he burned too fast. The legend of James Dean's Porsche 550 Spyder, nicknamed Little Bastard, has become an eerie chapter in American folklore, a ghostly tale of premonition, tragedy, and mystery. More than just a car, it seemed to be an omen, one that carried an inexplicable curse. The first ominous warning came before the car had even touched the highway. On September 23, 1955, British actor Alec Guinness arrived in Los Angeles. That evening, after being turned away from a restaurant, he and his friend encountered a young and eager James Dean. The rising star invited them to join them for dinner and proudly revealed his brand new silver Porsche 550 Spyder. "It's just been delivered," Dean said, beaming with excitement. But Alec Guinness felt an unshakable sense of dread. Staring at the sleek silver Porsche, he uttered an eerie prophecy. "Please never get in it. It is now 10 o'clock Friday, September 23, 1955. If you get in that car, you will be found dead in it by this time next week." 1 week later, on September 30th, 1955, James Dean and his Porsche factory-trained mechanic, Rolf Wutherick, arrived at Competition Motors in Hollywood to prepare Dean's brand new, faster, more powerful Porsche 550 Spyder for an upcoming race in Salinas. Originally, Dean had planned to tow the Porsche behind his 1955 Ford County Squire station wagon, driven by stuntman Bill Hickman and accompanied by professional photographer Sanford H. Roth, who was documenting Dean for Collier's magazine. However, since the Spyder needed additional miles to properly break in for the race, Wutherick suggested Dean drive it to Salinas himself. Before setting off, the group stopped for coffee and donuts at the Hollywood Ranch Market. At approximately 1:15 p.m., they hit the road, pausing for fuel at a mobile station in Sherman Oaks before heading north on the Golden State Highway, now part of Interstate 5. Their journey took them through the Grapevine towards Bakersfield. At 3:30 p.m., a California Highway Patrol officer pulled Dean over at Mettler Station for speeding 65 miles per hour in a 55 mile per hour zone. Hickman, following in the Ford with the trailer, also received a ticket for exceeding the speed limit for vehicles towing trailers. To avoid the congestion of downtown Bakersfield, the group opted for the Racers Road, a shortcut to Blackwell's Corner. Upon arriving at Blackwell's Corner, Dean briefly met with fellow racers who were also headed to Salinas. They agreed to meet again for dinner in Paso Robles before parting ways. At approximately 5:15 p.m., Dean and Hickman left Blackwell's Corner, continuing west on U.S. Route 46. As Dean accelerated ahead in the Spyder, Hickman followed behind in the station wagon. Near Colonial Pass, Dean overtook several cars before descending Antelope Grade toward the junction of Highway 46 and State Route 41. At approximately 5:45 p.m., 23-year-old Donald Turnipseed, a Navy veteran and Cal Poly student, was driving east in a black and white 1950 Ford Tudor. As he attempted to turn left onto Highway 41 toward Fresno, his car crossed directly into Dean's lane. In a desperate attempt to avoid the crash, Dean instinctively executed a last-second racing maneuver, but there was no time. The two vehicles collided almost head-on. The impact sent Dean's lightweight Porsche airborne, flipping before landing in a roadside gully. Turnipseed's much heavier Ford slid 39 feet before coming to a stop. Witnesses rushed to the scene. A woman with nursing experience detected a faint pulse in Dean's neck, but his injuries were catastrophic. His left foot was crushed between the clutch and brake pedals, and he had suffered a broken neck, along with severe internal and external trauma. California patrol officers arrived shortly after, but by then Dean had already been pulled from the wreckage, unconscious and barely clinging to life. 10 minutes later, Hickman and Roth arrived, with Hickman assisting in the extrication. Wutherick, who had been ejected from the Spyder, lay nearby with serious injuries. An ambulance transported Dean and Wutherick to a hospital in Paso Robles, just 28 miles away. At 6:20 p.m., James Dean was pronounced dead on arrival at just 24 years old. The official cause of death included a broken neck, multiple fractures, and massive internal injuries. Wutherick survived, but suffered a broken jaw, as well as severe hip and femur injuries requiring surgery. Turnipseed, though shaken and bruised, escaped with only minor injuries. Following the fatal crash, George Barris, a car customizer and self-proclaimed king of the customizers, played a key role in fueling the legend of the curse surrounding Dean's Porsche. Barris claimed to have purchased the wrecked Spyder, and soon began recounting a series of bizarre accidents linked to its remains. According to him, between 1956 and 1960, the car was responsible for numerous mishaps, some causing serious injury, others even death. Barris expanded on these eerie accounts in his 1974 book, Cars of the Stars, detailing incidents such as a fatal crash involving a doctor who had installed the Porsche's transplanted engine in his vehicle. Another doctor who allegedly used parts from Little Bastard suffered severe injuries when his car overturned. Whether fact or embellishment, Barris ensured that the legend endured. However, some skeptics, including author Warren Beath, believe the curse may have been nothing more than a marketing ploy. Lee Raskin, an expert on Dean's racing history, cast doubt on Barris's claims, noting that many of the supposed accidents lack verifiable evidence. In reality, the wrecked Porsche was officially declared a total loss, and the insurance company paid Dean's father a settlement. The car was then sold to Dr. William Eschrick, a racer who salvaged the engine and other mechanical parts. He installed the Porsche's 4-cam engine into his Lotus race car and went on to compete in several races throughout 1956. One such race proved fatal. On October 21, 1956, Eschrick suffered a minor accident. Meanwhile, another racer, Dr. Troy McHenry, was driving a car equipped with a separate part salvaged from Dean's wreckage. During his very first race, McHenry lost control and fatally crashed into a tree. This incident remains one of the few confirmed casualties linked to Little Bastard. Despite Barris's claims that he would restore the wreck, the car's structure was beyond repair. Instead, he repurposed the mangled frame as a macabre exhibit. From 1957 to 1959, Little Bastard toured California, displayed at car shows, movie theaters, bowling alleys, and highway safety events, often under chilling banners such as James Dean's last sports car. Then, in 1960, the car vanished. Barris later claimed that while being transported in a sealed boxcar, the wreck simply disappeared. The train carrying Little Bastard arrived at its destination in Los Angeles, and the seal was intact. However, the boxcar was empty. Whether this was a calculated stunt or an eerie twist in the tale remains unknown. Even today, scattered remnants of the infamous Porsche surface in museums and private collections. Historic Attractions in Roscoe, Illinois, holds what is said to be a small scrap of the wreck, stolen by a souvenir hunter after the crash. In addition, the Volvo Auto Museum in Illinois once displayed what is said to be a door from the car, offering a $1 million reward to anyone who could provide the rest of the wreckage. No one ever did. Meanwhile, parts of the original engine remain in the possession of Dr. Eschrich's family, and the transaxle belongs to collector Jack Stiles in Massachusetts. Yet, despite decades of speculation, neither of James Dean's Porsches have ever been found. Interestingly, an inquest was held on October 11, 1955, just 11 days after the crash and only 3 days after Dean's funeral in Fairmount, Indiana. Turnipseed testified that he had not seen Dean's low-profile Porsche until it was too late. The jury ruled the crash an accident with no criminal intent, absolving Turnipseed of wrongdoing. Though he faced no legal consequences, the tragedy followed him for the rest of his life. He never publicly discussed it again, except for a single newspaper interview. To this day, James Dean remains an enduring icon of Hollywood rebellion, his tragic end frozen in time on a lonely stretch of highway. And somewhere out there, the wreck of Little Bastard still lingers in the unknown. Actor James Dean may have burned too brightly, but in the glow of that fleeting flame, he ignited a story that continues to haunt us. Was it fate or simply the price of chasing immortality in a world too fleeting to grasp? Leave your thoughts in the comments. That's all for now. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. It really does help out the channel. And let us know if there are any stories that you would like us to cover in the future. Until next time, thank you for watching.